Welcome to the B-Sides and Beers podcast.
Welcome to B-Sides and Beers, episode 45. Tonight we're looking into Green Day's third album and total game changer for them, and actually pretty well anyone that's listened to it after that. Dookie. How are we tonight?
Oh, we're good, man.
Doing
we're good.
Good.
Yeah,
Doing all right.
Doing real good. Yeah.
That was 94.
We're greased up.
Greased up. Wheels
Everything,
are
man.
greased, but
Everything 94.
Right. Everything is
a
94,
man. You know that.
Anything worthwhile, anyway.
And holy cow, what an album. Man.
Welcome to paradise.
Yeah. Just different. It was different. It's what 94 needed. Plain and simple. Some optimism.
That's a good way to put it.
Optimism.
It's a wrecking ball to all the sad, dreary, grunge, hate myself, sad. Did I say sad? Sad music. Yeah. They they injected some fun into things.
There you go.
Let's pause here though, as a resting
Yes.
point before we get too deep into it, and let's again just talk about sharing this episode and sharing our podcast and getting the word out there. We are trying to promote as many of these breweries as we possibly can, and the more it can be shared, the more their name gets out there. So we want to, like I said last time, keep drinking, and we want to keep talking about music. So share this, please. What are we drinking on that?
Let's start with you, because the last round we went the other way.
Sounds
so
good, man.
let's do that.
Sounds good. I talked to last episode about the Cannery Brewing Company out of Penticton. They offer the mix pack, the 6-pack, 2 of each. So last time I had the Naramata Nut Brown Ale, and that was fantastic. And now I'm going with the Lake Boat German style lager, again out of Cannery
Delicious.
Brewing. And if you've ever driven down Highway 97 there, you've seen that's the SS Sycamoose that's in the water there off to the side on there. So that's
I went to a wedding
really?
there.
there you go. There
On
you go.
the boat?
Yeah, they booked it for a wedding. It was cool.
Yeah. And another cool can, like another kind of wraparound with a whole bunch of different, again, of Skaha Lake there. So this classic combination of Pilsner, malt, and Saaz hops produces a crisp and clean finish. This lager pays tribute to the SS Sycamoose, which is dry docked in Penticton. So that one, I'm doing that one. And I'm also doing the final one here is the Muse Extra Pale Ale Strong Beer, which is, again, another pretty cool wraparound can with a whole bunch of
I like
cool
that
stuff.
one.
So an abundance of Simcoe and Cascade hops provide balance to the sweet malt flavors in this distinctive extra pale ale.
It looks like an Adam and Eve kind of thing
6.5.
going on there.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's got that whole feel to it. Yeah, so that's it. That's Cannery Brewing. That's the 3 offerings that they had in there. So, and the first 2 are excellent. I haven't done the extra pale ale yet, but that's what I got. Yeah.
Cool.
What you guys got?
Paper, rock, scissors.
1, 2, 3,
Let's go. 1, 2, 3, go.
What is that? That's
Yeah,
dynamite?
man, dynamite blows all you out the water.
Rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock, or whatever.
Lizard Spock. Oh, if you get to throw out a
fucking know.
fucking V, that's like I can do it with my left hand, but
The V or the reverse.
whoa.
Skills, man,
All right,
skills.
what are you drinking there, Skills?
Okay, Skills has, right off the top, we have Crafted in Scotland. Innocent Gun. Guinness and Gun Lager, which is always great.
I haven't had that one, man. I've only had those ones that used to come in the box, the single box with the,
Yeah.
I just thought that was hilarious with a single beer in a single box. But
Like a big
Super
beer, or
fancy.
just like a can of beer in a box.
no, just a regular like bottle of beer. It came in a box. and you
Okay.
had to take each beer out of the box. Like you drink 4 of these things and you'd have 4 boxes and 4 bottles.
Try to make it fancy
Shit,
like a
you just
scotch.
hop in your Lamborghini
and
afterwards,
it tasted
or
fancy.
what?
Oh yeah,
Sounds
They were
expensive, man.
they were, but they tasted like nothing else.
Really?
They're
Like-
good, man. They're good.
Oh yeah,
I've never been
like the
disappointed with
rum
one.
cask ones and the oak barrel cask ones. Like, but you can't drink a ton of them. You can't.
Yeah, it sounds
you
like
can't
Headache
order
City, man.
them. It is. It is. Yeah, you go too far, you're down the wrong path for sure. Yep. No question.
Well, we got that one. And then the second one is this is from Granville Island Brewing, and it is called the Cheeky Monkey. It is a chocolate and vanilla Hefeweizen.
Hefeweizen. Yeah.
It's good, man. It's very desserty kind of a beer, but it's pretty kick-ass. So, yeah,
Granville
that's what I
Island's
got.
always good, man.
Yeah, never been disappointed.
Yeah, they got good stuff.
Where is that brewery? I've been to Granville a number of times, but is the brewery in one of those restaurants or?
Well, that's where we went for one of our tours when we went back in 2008.
Yeah, it's
I think
right.
when we went to go see Radiohead.
Yeah, it's right as soon as you come in, like onto Granville
Yeah.
Island, like underneath.
There's like the
overpass
cement
thing there.
company, and then it's like right there.
It's like right on the right hand side.
Pretty much.
Like it's probably like second business in.
Okay.
Yeah, it's right there. But yeah, no, a great, yeah, brewery tour. The whole experience was good there. Yeah, but they've got
Yeah.
good stuff. Yeah,
Always solid offerings, and their seasonal stuff is it's nice. They're able to change things up and add some decent
Awesome.
quality. So, yeah, cool.
Dane, you
Let's
up?
see. I just finished off a Jagged Face IPA strong beer from Mount Aerosmith. Repping the island. They're out of Parksville. That's a 7.2. So yeah, Jagged Face for sure. And next up is a Beachfire Brewing Company Ember Red Ale. I'm hot and cold when it comes to red ales. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna give this one a shot. I really like.
I like them, man. I don't think I've had one that I don't really like. Actually,
Yeah,
I've had a few that just sort of the taste runs flat and they're a bit too sweet, and I'm just like, ugh. But
yeah.
it's nice. It's a nice break from super hoppy whatever or super sour whatever. So, I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
I've been researching a lot of guitars lately, so it's like a.
it's like a Strat in a can.
Oh,
Exactly.
book that one.
Or is it like
I
a
was like a
Gibson Studio,
P90
or is
a
it a Les Paul
P90 to a
Studio?
PAF, but a fucking Strat to Canon like that. Yeah,
It's like a humbucker. There's no hum in it.
there's no fucking hum in that. That's what I'm drinking. That's what I'm drinking right now.
Excellent. Good selections. Dookie.
Dookie.
Oh, this is a fun
Oh
one.
my god, super fun. This one was like when this came out, it blew my little mind.
Me
Total
too,
game
man.
changer.
Yeah.
I remember I bought it. Well, first I saw Basket Case video, and I thought the drums were so cool. I thought like I had to have like
They
duct
were-
tape
they were
on my
tray cool.
skins. I thought that was so cool when I saw that, right? And I remember I had my $20 drum kit, and even in those old pictures, you can see that there is duct tape on my
Yeah.
skins on that old drum
Yeah.
kit,
Yeah.
right? Because I saw that video and I was like, oh, this is the drumming just kind of blew my mind, right?
Yeah.
He just, and it's such a great video. He just gets wheeled up there and looks like he can't do anything, and then all of a sudden, like it kicks
just-
in, and you're like,
Fills for days.
oh, he's like
Yeah.
the double stroke roll master, like unbelievable, so fast. But yeah, and I remember, and maybe you guys can help me because I was talking to Nicole about this today. I went and I bought it on cassette, and I bought it at the music store in Millwoods Town Center, but I can't remember what music store was in Millwoods Town Center.
Something Sonic? No. Wasn't it?
Did they have a Music World in there? Was it some? It wasn't an HMV. It felt like it was like smaller than that.
Yeah.
I
They
can't
had an
remember.
HMV. They had didn't they have like a Sam the Record Man
No.
at some point? Or no, that was downtown.
In Millwoods Town Center, man, it would have been if it wasn't A and B sound because that was a thing of its own, right?
No, that was
Yeah.
Yeah, that was separate.
Yeah, that was
Sam. Was it a Sam?
Self-standing.
No,
No, they only had a Sam downtown. It was probably an HMV
dude.
or whatever.
I think it was an HMV. Yeah,
Had to have
Yeah.
been.
Maybe. Anyways,
You bought the
I
tape?
bought it on tape, and and it was funny because I remember the first time that I saw the CD, I thought it was so cool because the CD was gold, and I didn't know that because I had it on cassette,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
again, this is another thing that's lost a little bit on the order of the album and the A side and B side because it ended with Basket Case. Basket Case was the end of side
Right.
A, but like talk about a fantastic start to side B with She.
Yeah, She.
Because it just like kicks right in with the bass right off the bat and the drums, and it's like an awesome start to side B because it's just like it just framed it nicely, right? Because you got to that end part with Basket
Yeah.
Case, and then
Yeah.
you still had like another kind of other half of the album, which was totally different than the first half.
Yeah.
You know,
is it? I guess. I mean, when you have that frame of reference, like flipping it over, I guess. But like, okay, I'll next time
it
I
is,
listen
man.
to
It's a
it.
totally different record on side B. It's a totally different like feel to it. It's like it's almost like the second act to the whole album, you know. And I love too that like when I listen to this again, I realize like there is no hit until song 4, right? Like there's no,
and that was the original.
They do
that was the first offering, right? Longview.
Yeah. Right. Like, and it was just when I listened to it again, it's kind of crazy that they don't have their release song in the first 3 tracks, but the first 3 tracks are great.
Yeah, Burnout was the perfect first track. Perfect the way it kicks in with the snare drum. Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you're on this journey now for the next 39 minutes that you're going to be cruising through, right? Like and it feels like this is just getting taken straight live off the floor
Yeah.
Yeah.
in your face, right?
Well, it's a super game changer, and I mean, it took no time to record it in the grand scheme of things. They were over prepared when they went in the
3
studio.
weeks.
You know, they didn't want to be one of these bands that got stuck in the studio and then, you know, you release something and it gets sent to the record label and they say, no, this is what's wrong with these, go do it again, kind of a deal. They just had it down. And it feels like it. It feels like they walked into the studio and they just had it.
It's tight.
It's
It
super
sounds
tight.
tight. Like it's recorded tight. Yeah. But I think that's the drums and the bass together. They are like lock and key. It feels like on this album. But Trey Cool's
He's pretty cool.
yeah, he was inspiring to me back in the day,
Oh,
right?
totally.
Like when I saw him first, he was like kind of Keith Moon. He always reminded me of Keith Moon, just like wild, crazy, kind of you don't know what to expect from him, but an unbelievable drummer, technique off the wall, just wow, you know?
Yeah. And I think like the thing that really made it interesting was the contrast between like the technical bits and they're like a smoked out fucking band from East Bay, right? Like they're all about just like talking about being bored and smoking weed and whatever. And then you sort of like contrast that with like super tight technical playing. And I think this is like, obviously they were like sort of big on the punk rock scene before they hit big with this album. And
They were massive
Mike,
before that. I mean, in that underground vein. I mean, Kerplunk
And Mike,
was
I thought
solid,
you had
man.
Kerplunk before Dookie, because the first time I heard Kerplunk was at your place. I remember on your tape player. You're like,
I had it like right after because I
after.
went backwards on
Yeah.
it. Yeah, and somebody had like some kind of bootleg version
Yeah.
of it, and I had it for some reason, but it was like right after. I didn't have it before that because I heard Dookie and bought Dookie, and then it blew my mind, and I'm like, I gotta go backwards. I gotta get everything else that they've ever done in their lives.
Yep.
So I found it somehow, but yeah, it's and another one too, like, you know, we talked about Pearl Jam last week, and, you know, for producers, and this one I actually did look up, unlike last week's, but Rob Cavallo produced this.
Midas
And
Touch.
but I looked at like his stuff, and like, you know, he did a lot of other Green Day albums and stuff, but like he did like Goo Goo Dolls and Kid Rock, and, you know, he did
big albums, man.
Yeah. Oh, there's lots of stuff. Don't get me
Big
wrong.
money making albums.
Totally.
You know, you look at My Chemical Romance, The Black Parade.
Yeah.
Goo Goo Dolls. He did 3 of their albums.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, even Like It or Not. I mean, they're massive, massive albums.
Big time. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But as far as like in that same vein of like this, it just that he doesn't do anything else like that, right? Like you kind of find some of these guys are in that style or that vein and they stay there. But, you know, I guess this is poppy though too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Oh, it's super poppy, and you know, that's where it was kind of a huge change, because there wasn't a lot of bands out front in that time that were pushing that. Well, no, they were out there, but not to this extent, where every song could have been a hit, and every song was upbeat, and, you know, it had the hooks
Absolutely.
that a lot of the other ones did. I mean, when you look back at like a Rancid or you know, that sort of a band, or Bad Religion, or, you know, these bands that were there prior to them, there was nothing like it.
This was the first instance of pop punk, like really. And like speaking to like Mike, you're talking about Rob Cavallo. Like, I think he's, and especially when you list off all of the other like acts that he's worked with, he sort of had that ear, I think, and he recognizes a certain ingredient, or let's just say like a certain like mixture of ingredients, and then like really polishes it up and makes it like palatable for like everybody. Because like when you go to Kerplunk, it's good, but it's a punk album.
Well, the songs were there. The production wasn't there. That was the problem.
And then so you go to Dookie, and it's
but the
like
songs were there. Yeah.
Dookie is a punk album, but it's so polished, and it's done like it's not contrived, but it's a pop punk. It's the first instance, I think, of pop punk. Like,
and it was the first punk album that people could, well, one of the first anyway. I mean, when you look at Sex Pistols or something like that, where people that weren't punks could still latch onto it and catch onto it, and you know, but when you look at when Dookie dropped, dropping Dookie,
Juicy Dookie,
which was supposed to be Liquid Dookie. I think that was the original.
It was,
So there you go.
When dropping Liquid Dookie, you know, you look at the punks that were into their punk side from coming out from their performances and life on Gilman Street, to now anybody, you know, all these little preppy kids that have never listened to punk, you know, oh, I like Green Day, this is great, I'm into punk now. And it sort of changed a lot of things with that.
It transcended like a genre, which was really amazing. That doesn't happen, you know, like it's super rare. And like even Rancid is still kind of stuck in that. And that's fine, but Green Day just exploded and became, you know, everybody's favorite. Like with this album, and then like they kind of dipped, and now I don't even know, but like they're still going strong, which is really mind blowing. And like you wouldn't have Avril Lavigne, you wouldn't have you name any fucking pop punk band.
Well,
Of the
really, I
early
mean, in
2000s.
1994, well, even
Yeah.
1994. I mean, when you look at a lot of the bands that, like a Rancid, or you look at
Right.
Offspring, you look at bands like that you don't want to say they rode on their coattails, but they were brought to the forefront because of the explosion of this certain style.
They're all
of
from the
punk.
same scene though. Like
Yeah, but it made them from a good semi-unknown band to a great
Right.
known band. Like it just launched so many of these great bands that no one would have known about if it's the same sort of thing with Nevermind
Right.
and Nirvana. When there's all these great bands, but you don't hear from them until this one explosion of an album,
yeah.
and then it drags all these other great bands up behind
Yeah.
them, or at least brings them to the forefront.
But
And it's amazing how this album cut through at 94 when all the rest of this
Yeah.
stuff was hitting hard for us,
Yeah.
right? And it, when we're talking about like Soundgarden, we're talking about Alice in Chains, and then you got this album coming in and it just cuts through, and you're like, it was a game changer in so many different ways. But we were listening to all this other stuff, and then we heard this, and it was just like,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
I don't know why it blew our minds so much that way at that time, because we weren't listening to anything like that, and it hit hard all the way through, and when you listen to it again, it's still really
Yeah.
good. It's still, it kind of locked in, and I realized how much I knew and how much I remembered and how many lyrics I
Yeah.
remembered, and and I'll tell you guys, I did a different approach with this album this week, because usually when we talk about this, I'll throw it on and listen to it for nonstop for 2 weeks on repeat,
Yeah.
right? I didn't do that this time on purpose. I listened to it today for the first time in, I don't know, a long time, right? I haven't listened to this album in its entirety.
It's just
since,
fresh on your
I
brain
don't know,
right now.
maybe-
It's fresh on your brain.
It is,
Yeah.
man. It totally. And I listened to it probably 4 times today, all the way through, but I remember it quite well,
Yeah.
right? And I can still talk to it quite well. And it's just good. It's like kind of coming home a little bit when I listen to this album. But you know what? I'll be honest, I've never listened to this album on headphones. And I listened to this album on headphones for the first time. And it's vocally, there's quite a few like harmonies and doublings
Yeah.
and stuff going
Yeah.
on there too, which I didn't really pick up until I listened to it this time. Yeah,
Yeah, it's subtle.
that was cool.
And I think honestly, when you think about it, when like, okay, going back to you saying like it's cutting through, I think it was the speed, it was the tone of the guitar, it was the, the lyrics themselves were like, we were just like primed for it, right? Like we were coming out of this sort of like grunge pessimism, whatever. And although like a lot of it has to do with like, being anxious and yeah,
sexuality,
and but it came across something which was like really accessible. It was just like, for me, to be honest with you, what this came out in 94, 14, it was one of the first punk albums that I ever heard. It was just something that was completely different and got me into punk rock, even though it was this sort of crossover album. But yeah, absolutely. The first time you hear it, after I don't know how many years, like I haven't listened to Dookie. I think I texted you guys last week or a week before. I was just like doing whatever, and I just decided to listen to fucking whatever, Green Day.
Well, you said you found some drum video,
Oh,
some live drum performance video
was
that got you
It was
hooked.
isolated. It
Yeah.
was isolated drums,
Yeah.
which
isolated
is,
Trey Cool drums.
yeah.
Yeah, of course I had to send it to you
Great.
guys.
Oh,
Yeah.
I loved it. It was great. It was great.
And the drums,
Awesome.
right? It was just like it was just really a new breed of rock and roll, whatever you want to call it. But it was good. It's sort of like, to this day gives me energy.
And the bass was good too.
Yeah.
Like Mike Dirt is like,
so good.
and the way it was recorded
Shit.
and the way it sounds,
Yeah.
like
I love the
Yeah.
tone of it, man.
Yeah, he's
a
got
couple
it.
months ago, about a
Yeah.
year ago, I hooked up with did a collaboration with some dude online, and he was doing guitar, and I'm like, well, fuck, I'll just play bass. And I learned She and Longview.
Great. Such a great
And
lick.
they're so fun to play, man. Like they're just strictly going from a guitar player to, I'm going to learn this song on bass. And
It's harder than it sounds,
it's just
dude.
Such a fun experience. It's awesome, man. I had it pretty quick, but this is just fun, man. It was fun to play.
Yeah, she's
front
a
to
great
back.
bass song.
Yeah.
Totally.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
definitely. Yeah, Mike Durden is like, he's solid. And that's the thing, like punk rock bass players, I mean, you got to be solid. You don't stand out, but you got to be solid. Mm-hmm. And it's funny, Longview was...
And even that tone, how it cuts through.
absolutely. One of the first like licks I tried to learn, and it took me a really long time to learn that one for some reason. But yeah, it's just...
Was what? What was the first? What was the lick? I missed
Longview,
that.
man.
What was? Oh, Longview. Yeah.
Ba-doom,
Yeah.
doom, 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 da-doom, doom, doom,
And I
doom,
like, I don't
doom.
think I even learned how to do it properly, but it was just one of those things that it's like, wow, the bass never really stood out on any songs. And I mean, that was the interesting thing about this album. I think, what's the first track again? Not Basket Case. It's Burnout. There's a fucking
Burnout.
drum solo.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Which nobody did.
No.
Yeah.
First track.
And that's the thing. Showcases it right off the
Yeah.
bat, right? And there's a lot of like musical like interludes.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of like outros and like intros and things that lead into other things. It's
Just well crafted.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we I'd like to kind of put a another entry into we had an episode talking about album cover art, and we did not discuss this
yeah.
album.
Man.
And this is a great album cover.
I think I had one of the
and,
original
like,
ones, dude.
I have the original
On the
one still.
back is
Nice.
there
The one,
Elmo
the one
or-
with Ernie.
or Ernie.
with
Yeah,
Ernie.
yeah.
Yeah, I got that one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
on
mine
tape.
has
I don't know where
Ernie on
is.
it.
I know. I remember it on being on the back, and they got rid of it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they didn't want to get sued by Sesame Street or whatever.
Yeah.
For having an Ernie puppet on it, they didn't want it to someone to mistakenly think it was
Yeah.
for kids.
But
Yeah.
you're right. I mean that artwork really did lend to the whole like identity of this band. Like it was something not to be taken too seriously, but still like cool.
But how
was still-
precise it is too. I mean, when they take the all the the majority of the buildings in the background are actual spots in Berkeley
Right.
where they were running
Yeah.
at the time. And then you dig in. I mean, I found some stuff that when you do super zoom in. I mean, there's Angus Young is rocking out on one of the buildings, and you've got the Witch from first Black Sabbath album.
I was gonna say there's a
In there.
Sabbath and something in there too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Witch from their first one, and it even has the writing "What is this? It stands before me" on it, which is pretty rad.
Yeah.
Once you get past the image of the monkey holding his poop and having the comic thing that says throw. Once you get past that, you can see a lot of this other stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah, great
So
album
good.
cover. And yeah, it just lended to the whole experience.
Yeah.
I think when you were a kid too, right? Even buying the album and seeing it, it sold me.
Absolutely.
too, right on it.
But then like the recording aside, like so there's great recordings, and like I'll never forget it was Woodstock 2. Like
oh yeah,
94.
right after they released this. And
Yeah.
mud fights ensued, and someone threw a big chunk of mud on his fucking guitar, and he
Grass.
just kept playing. Like it was,
or he'd grab it and throw it back into the crowd and
it
just
was
keep
like,
going. Yeah.
What? Like you're just expecting someone to like rock star whatever, have a rock star rant.
Diva out and
I'm
walk
out.
out.
I'm done. This is over.
No, he just kept playing, and it was like, whoa, these guys are crazy. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
So cool.
that was sort of like, the release of this album and that performance. I was hooked. Like,
Yeah,
Did
completely.
you guys see him live?
never did.
No.
Okay.
You did?
Wow, you guys did? Yeah, I saw him twice. And that's funny.
No,
Well, okay, I looked it up.
you were just cooler than us, or
No,
whatever.
man, I don't know. It was right place, right time. 1995, I saw them at Rex or not Rexall, well, Rexall, whatever it's called.
All right.
Yeah.
Coliseum.
In 95?
Coliseum. Yeah.
95, man. I looked it up. October 20th, 1985. They played for 37 minutes.
And then they fucked off.
And the lights came on.
Wow.
That was it. The show was over, man. And it was
Cocaine's
done.
a hell of a drug.
And
That's awesome.
yeah. And everybody was
That's
like,
how shows should be, man. Most live shows are too fucking long.
it's true.
Hit me hard with like a 20 to 30 minute kick your ass and then done, instead of a 2 hour lingering.
It was quick. And it was like
I'm
the
excited,
album,
and then
right?
you get an hour in and I'm
fucking
bored.
concert for 30 minutes. Takes me 30 minutes to find a parking stall.
Oh, and then I saw him at Edgefest. They played at Edgefest, 1998.
What?
in Commonwealth Stadium? Yeah, man. Trey Cool lit the guitar or the drum kit on fire during that show.
Oh man.
Oh, I missed both.
Yeah,
Or I don't remember.
I thought you guys would have been at the 98. I thought you would have been at the Edgefest one.
Never saw them live. I always wanted to, and I just never did. I don't know if
Okay.
it was
How
financial
was it good?
That's weird.
or what. But
It was okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the first one I was expecting more. Obviously,
Right.
when the lights came on, I was like,
They just ripped through the album like
pretty much. Like it was 95, so they were already on tour for Insomniac, and and they barely played any of that stuff, but they played a lot of Dookie, but like again, it was over in like 36 minutes.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
it was the fastest concert ever.
I mean, what do you
Like-
expect a punk band like that's crossed over, right? Like
yeah,
whatever. Thanks for the money.
they hadn't
bitches.
brought in their ballads and their American Idiot stuff and their "Wanna Live Without."
Well, that's the
Wanting."
thing. I was going to ask you guys
mean,
too.
they didn't have those songs.
They had
We were
that
talking about-
ballad, right? Like, see you next time.
Yeah, the really cheesy.
was a grad
You're
song or
graduating
something.
college and your life
See
is
you
going to be
next time.
amazing. And this is yeah. What the hell was that
but
called?
like,
Time of your
So
life.
bad.
time of your life.
Yeah, so bad. I don't care.
Oh, it's.
I
now
stopped
known
after
as See You
Nimrod, I
Next
stopped.
Time. I like that.
Yeah,
That's
see
way
you
better.
next time.
But what are you gonna do with that? What are you? You're not gonna come up with Dookie 2 and like you're not
Yeah.
gonna keep this going,
Yeah.
right? Like we talked about Rage Against the Machine a couple weeks ago. About I mean, like you can only go so far, right? Till you start like becoming what you're trying to be against.
Yeah.
So you know you're gonna eventually have a Broadway album and you're gonna have a Broadway show and you're gonna sell the whole thing and have a resurgence and well, I mean, what are you gonna do? You know, but they're like you said, they're still going strong,
Yeah.
and we were talking about that as well. Like difficult to navigate a land of sex, drugs, and rock and roll for a long period of time. You know, and they've been around since whatever 91, 90.
Yeah, and they've
like,
imploded.
yeah,
I
like-
mean, he
yeah.
had that rant
yep,
at iHeart.
Yeah, they disappeared for a while.
yep.
Yeah.
But they're still going right. But yeah, I mean, you can't go very far with that whole act until it's played out.
Yeah, but the lighter they got with those songs, the more popular they got.
And that's management.
How it works.
That's how you do it, right? That's how you stay relevant, unfortunately, in the
Attention
world. But
span. We'll go back to
yeah,
my rant about new music and attention
Yeah.
span.
But I mean, all they got to
Exactly.
do is have a Dookie tour. I mean, NoFX did the same thing. They did a Punk and Drublick tour, and it was phenomenal.
Yep.
Right? I got punched in the nose and I left early, but phenomenal. And like,
It's all about
yeah,
the story.
I mean, once this gets watered out, and I mean, like, yeah, I'm still surprised they are relevant, but they are to some degree. They're even in movies, right? This is 40, I think. Like Billy Joel's
oh yeah,
does something or other.
yeah. I think you going back to
Right,
this is 40.
40.
Yeah,
I haven't seen this movie, so I need to.
you should see it, man. It's not amazing, but it has its moments.
Yeah, I don't know why I keep referencing it, but anyway.
You know what, man? I can't even honestly tell you the last movie I watched from beginning to end.
I can tell you. It was this movie. What the fuck was it called? Brooke Shields, and she's like an author or something or other. And she
Is this like from the
amazing.
80s?
this is like a brand new Christmas something. She buys
Sounds
a castle in
amazing.
Scotland, falls in love with a dude
think I'm
who
gonna
she
be
thinks
riveted.
works
That
for the
sounds nice.
castle, but actually owns it. And she's like, "What?" And then
Is it a rom-com?
no, it's like, I think, like, I'm just all about the terrible movies. The terrible, the better. Like, go on Prime and just find like any murder movie from the early 2000s, and it's like awesome. It's so irrational. It's so like you looked at my husband.
Like what? Like, give me some titles.
Oh, anything by there's this guy. It's like Jack something or other, and he made them all. And it's basically just like, oh, I met your husband, and now I'm going to burn your house down and steal your children. And the movie gets so far out of whack so quick. You're like, what am I watching? This is insane. This is straight to DVD shit. Yeah.
Be great actors.
What a world.
So good. So good.
Yeah.
All inspired by Green
All
Day.
inspired by Dave Mustaine. I mean, Green Day.
Oh, Dave Mustaine's on here somewhere. I'm sure he's got a comment about Dookie somewhere. I didn't look up Dave Mustaine.
We're all
this
just
week,
like,
though,
no.
unfortunately.
Click it, click, 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 click,
Click
click.
it. But yes, I mean, this is a influential album for me personally.
Yep.
So, you know, it was good to revisit it and just to kind of go back to it again, and just realize how much I knew, how much it's still, and how it's still solid. It's still solid
Yeah.
from really from front to back. You can put it on, and it's, you know, and that's the thing too. I think about that, you know, 36-minute concert, and it was almost like the album. You know, it was just in, out, and that's all you get, and it kind of was the album.
It would have been 39 minutes and 34 seconds, but they didn't have All By Myself.
All by myself.
Oh, right.
No one is looking.
One of the, again, you know, when they had
Was the interview?
the hidden songs, you know,
Right.
that was another thing in the 90s
Yeah.
that we had, right?
What, this track is 24 minutes
either-
long?
Yeah.
Or the one that you started on song 1 and you had to rewind
Yeah.
your CD to get to the hidden song that was before
well,
song 1.
Yeah.
What
Those
was
were
that?
always
I've
good.
never experienced that before.
There was a lot of
Yeah,
albums like
rewound.
that. Yeah. So you put the CD in and it starts playing, and then you hit rewind to X amount, and there's a hidden song ahead
Whoa.
of song 1.
X-Nay on the Ombre. I remember that one.
Really?
They had it.
Yeah.
Offspring,
Yeah.
X-Nay on the
What's
Ombre. Yeah.
what's
Yeah,
what's
that's the one I was
track
thinking of.
0?
I don't even remember.
You'll have
man.
to dig out your
it was
CD and you'll
some
have to
kind of
find it.
CDs.
Mexican sounding.
Yeah.
I guess
But that stuff's lost on Spotify too, right?
Right.
Like even like
Yeah.
All By Myself is listed on there as track 15.
Yeah.
Like that's
yeah,
not
you're just
not
like,
cool
this is
anymore.
stupid.
yeah, that's not how it goes.
Or you look at some Nine Inch Nails albums, where you have to fast. It's like a 15-minute, 20-minute last song. Or you look at Korn, Follow the Leader. The CD that I bought at the time, I don't think it's definitely not like that anymore. But it started on like track.
99, I think, didn't it?
It was no 99 was a Nine Inch Nails one, I think. But this one was like pretty close to
Right.
that. Yeah.
Those
So,
guys got a
where
new
you had
album
to skip
coming
through all
out
these-
next year.
It's gonna be a
Who's that?
Korn.
Oh, I thought you said
Oh,
Trent
they
Reznor.
keep-
No.
Korn
Yeah,
might be
no.
okay. I don't know.
I heard the new single. It's okay. I like their last album
Right.
better. Their last album kind of goes back to their first debut sort of sound, and it was really
They should
good.
pack it up. They're so dysfunctional. I mean, anyway,
Oh, they're fine.
Buddy's just on oxygen, and the fucking bass player's like, I'll be back.
Taking a time
after I defeat
need a
my
break."
demons.
I want to figure out what I want to be when I grow up.
Like, all right.
Oh, Fieldy. Maybe he'll do another rap album that's bad.
Hell of a drug. It's a hell of a drug.
Hell of a drug.
94, Dookie, excellent choice.
Excellent choice.
Yep, huge, man.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Dane, that was your idea. That was a good pick.
if you can find those isolated drums, listeners out there.
Oh, it's solid. Yeah. I
Well
love
worth
those.
a listen.
I love the isolated anything. I love that. I wish every single album I ever bought came with isolated tracks on every single. Yeah. That would be so cool, you know? But yeah, when you listen to that too, it just, the way the drums were recorded is also very impressive,
No doubt.
you know?
And this is back in the
And I looked
day.
up,
This
too,
is
he
mic.
was-
This is like a kit mic'd up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. SJC custom drum kit, but used a DW kit too at times. But yeah. Oh, Mike's going all purple, all crimson or something behind now.
He's
If
all
you guys
red.
can't see, it looks like
Let me
he's-
take a screenshot
it's
of
all
this.
Red.
it's all
Wait.
red, so you guys can see it. Yeah. Whoa! Look at that. Look
I'm
at
gonna
him.
wink at you. There you go.
Oh, it's scary. It's scary.
We'll be posting that on the IGs.
Most definitely. Dookie, excellent choice. Thanks, guys. I know I say good pick every time, but it is a good pick. So thank you.
We've never had a bad pick.
Nope.
So
All right.
Nope. That's right. That's right. That's why you got to keep listening. Hopefully you're still with us at this point. Don't click off. Don't stop it. Don't stop.
Now share,
You made the
comment,
41 minutes.
can't stop, won't stop.
You know what?
All that.
Just do it.
all that.
Dave Mustaine.
Dave Mustaine. All right, we want you guys to subscribe, share, and review this podcast. Keep it going, keep it strong, because we're having a great time entertaining you guys with B-Sides and Beers podcast.